The illusion. We are taught a very comforting lie, that we live in a post-class society. We believe that because we no longer have formal aristocracies, because lords and peasants have been replaced by CEOs and employees, the concept of a rigid social caste system has vanished. But human sociology doesn't care about legislation. Our brains are biologically hardwired by millions of years of evolution to instantly scan, categorize, and rank every human being we encounter. The hierarchy hasn't disappeared. It has simply mutated. It went underground. Today, social status is no longer determined purely by the balance in your bank account. If you win the lottery tomorrow, you acquire wealth, but you do not automatically acquire high status. Status is a complex, invisible architecture built on microsignals: how you consume, how you occupy space, and how you manage anxiety. In this episode, we are going to strip away the illusion. Using the frameworks of some of history's greatest sociologists, we will decode the hidden language of modern social class. Welcome to the architecture of social status. Chapter 1. The Veblen Paradox. To understand how the modern hierarchy works, we must first look at the psychology of how we spend our money. In 1899, sociologist Thorstein Veblen coined the term conspicuous consumption in his book, The Theory of the Leisure Class. He observed a fascinating human behavior. People were buying expensive, highly restrictive clothing and heavy silver tableware, not because they were practical, but specifically to prove to society that they did not have to engage in manual labor. They were purchasing the physical evidence of wealth. Fast forward to the modern era, and we see the ultimate tragic paradox of this theory. Walk down any major city street or scroll through social media, and you will see people covered in massive, glittering designer logos, giant interlocking belts, heavily branded sneakers, and monogrammed bags. The profound irony here is that in today's hierarchy, displaying loud luxury is no longer a signal of wealth. It is the most accurate indicator of middle or lower class anxiety. Sociologists call this signaling theory. When an individual feels deeply insecure about their position in the hierarchy, they require loud, unmistakable proof of their worth. Luxury corporations understand this psychological weakness perfectly. They mass-produce entry-level items with gigantic logos specifically for the middle class, selling them the temporary illusion of elevation. The buyer is paying a massive premium just to rent a psychological shield. They need you to know they spent $1,000 on a jacket because they live in absolute terror that without the logo, you will assume they are a nobody. The true elite, however, operate on a principle called counter-signaling. When your status is unquestionable and deeply secured, you no longer need to scream it. In fact, trying to prove your wealth feels desperate, vulgar, and low status. To the truly wealthy mind, wearing a massive logo means you have submitted yourself to becoming a free, walking billboard for a corporation. This is exactly why generational wealth favors aesthetic silence. They wear unbranded cashmere, bespoke tailoring, and muted colors. The ultimate flex of modern high status is wearing an astronomically expensive garment that 99% of the population cannot even recognize. They do not want the crowd's validation because they do not respect the crowd's authority to judge them. True status is the absolute luxury of not caring if strangers know you have money. Chapter 2. The Habitus. But status goes much deeper than the clothes you wear. It is literally written into your nervous system. In the 1970s, The French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu introduced a groundbreaking concept called the habitus. The habitus is the physical embodiment of your cultural capital. It dictates how your social background programs your posture, your micro-gestures, and your fundamental comfort in physical space. Watch a person who feels out of their depth, perhaps walking into a high-end restaurant, a prestigious gallery, or an elite corporate boardroom. Their habitus betrays them instantly. They become hyper-vigilant. They pull their arms and legs in tightly, minimizing their physical footprint, subconsciously apologizing for occupying volume in the room. They micro-adjust their collar, they touch their face, and their eyes constantly dart around, scanning the environment to see if they are breaking an unspoken rule. Their body language screams that they feel like an imposter. They are suffering from immense social friction, and everyone in the room can subconsciously detect it. Now, observe the physical mechanics of a truly high-status individual in the exact same room. They possess what Bourdieu simply called ease. Ease is the absolute total absence of anxiety. They take up space naturally and unapologetically. When they sit, they lean back. They drape an arm over the chair. Their movements are slow, fluid, and heavily unhurried. They do not scan the room for approval because their subconscious baseline assumes they already belong there. If a glass drops or a loud noise occurs, their reaction is delayed and minimal, whereas a low-status individual will flinch immediately. This physical relaxation cannot be faked with a weekend confidence seminar. It is the result of a nervous system that does not perceive the social environment as a threat. True status is moving through the world as if you own the architecture around you. Chapter 3: Linguistic Capital. If your body language is the foundation of status, your speech is the architecture. Linguistic capital is not about having a posh accent, and it is certainly not about using overly complicated academic words. It is about the structural psychology of how you deliver your thoughts. Listen closely to lower status speech patterns. They are primarily characterized by a deep, subconscious fear of interruption. People who feel they lack authority believe that their time to speak is a temporary privilege, not a right. Therefore, they tend to speak rapidly, rushing through their sentences to get the point out before someone cuts them off. They flood their speech with filler words, like, you know, and basically, using them as verbal shields to block others from speaking. More importantly, they use uptalk. They raise the pitch of their voice at the end of a declarative sentence, turning a statement into a question. Subconsciously, they are pleading with the listener. Do you agree? Am I making sense? Is it okay that I'm speaking? High-status speech is the exact psychological opposite. It is marked by immense vocal density and calculated pauses. A person with high linguistic capital does not fear silence. They weaponize it. When asked a complex question, they will comfortably sit in silence for 3 full seconds to construct their thought. They know the room will wait. Because they are not seeking external validation, their sentences end on a downward, definitive inflection. A statement lands like a heavy stone. They do not fill the air with nervous chatter. They understand that every unnecessary word dilutes the currency of their voice. By speaking with total economy, their syllables are handled like premium investments. You do not command respect by increasing your volume. You command it by increasing the scarcity and the weight of your words. Chapter 4: The Law of Indifference. The final, and perhaps most defining metric of the modern social hierarchy is emotional sovereignty. How easily can the world trigger you? How much friction does it take to break your composure? The middle and lower classes are trapped in a state of high emotional reactivity. Their egos are incredibly fragile because their status feels precarious and unearned. A minor insult from a stranger, a slow barista, a driver cutting them off in traffic, or a disagreement with an anonymous profile on the internet is enough to ruin their entire day. They will argue, yell, and aggressively defend their honor over trivial matters. Why? Because they feel they have something to lose. They must fight for every inch of respect because they have no internal reservoir of it. The true hallmark of high social rank is the law of indifference. It is the profound, almost chilling capacity to remain completely unbothered by the chaos of lower-level environments. When a high-status individual encounters a rude person or an aggressive provocation, they do not match the aggression. They do not engage in a shouting match. They understand a critical rule of social dynamics. The moment you engage in a fight with someone of a lower emotional rank, you instantly drop to their level. You elevate them and you degrade yourself. Instead, the high-status mind observes chaotic behavior with a detached anthropological curiosity. They look at the aggressor not as a threat, but as a biological organism struggling with its own lack of control. They understand that anger is a loud broadcast of weakness, and indifference is the ultimate display of power. When you no longer need the world to act perfectly for you to remain perfectly calm, you have achieved the highest form of social status. You have become psychologically untouchable. Money can buy your entry into the room, and it can buy the clothes on your back, but only your psychology will determine where you actually sit. True status is not a logo on a bag, and it is not a loud display of wealth. It is the quiet, unyielding confidence of knowing exactly who you are, without ever needing the crowd to prove it. If this sociological breakdown changed the way you view human dynamics, subscribe to Value Psychology. Leave a comment below with the word ease if you are practicing true status today. Stay sharp, stay disciplined. Until next time.